Here's Brody Brazil.
I'm not going to go back and do the math, but I'm pretty sure I've done hundreds of videos about the A's in this calendar year alone, and obviously mostly dealing with potential relocation to Las Vegas. However, I feel like I've touched on almost all the topics that are out there. So it's rare when something new comes to my attention that I haven't made a video on yet. But this is exactly that. It really never struck me about the A's and potentially keeping their branding through to Las Vegas. And the question being here, why exactly would the team want to carry their name, their image, their colors, their mascot? Why is it so important to them? Why do they think it's in their best interest to carry all of that through relocation? By the way, if the A's ultimately do make it to Las Vegas, they'd be the first team in professional sports history to have the same name across 4 different cities. In this case, Philadelphia, Kansas City, Oakland, and Las Vegas. So I'm not going to present these thoughts in any particular order, but there are some things to consider here, beginning with this, what the front office from this team has always said about why they want to keep their name and likeness, because the origins do go back to 1901. That's a long time ago. There's a lot of history here with different players and teams and obviously world championships. But if history and heritage are valued and prioritized so much, then why not just leave the name where it stood the longest? Because if you could tell me that Philadelphia played home to the A's longer than Oakland has, okay, there might be a case there. Or if you told me that Oakland had only been around as long as Kansas City, what was that, 12 or 13 years when they were the Kansas City A's? Okay, fine, that might also be something to consider. But Oakland has played home to the A's longer than anywhere else. And it's almost the analogy of, well, I'm at this beach and I really like this beach, but I'm going home now from vacation. I want to take this beach with me. So I'm going to shovel up all the sand I can, put it in a suitcase, put it on the airplane, and bring it with me. Instead of respecting the beach as I found it, as it was, and going home and being respectful of the landscape. Again, I do understand the history. I do understand the fact that it's been around so long, and maybe you don't want to be the end of that, but at the same point, ending Oakland is part of ending that in the same sentence. Las Vegas, it seems to me, has no real interest and no real connections to the current A's brand. I'm talking about, again, the name A's or athletics or the logo or the colors or the mascot or, quite honestly, the team's history. And if I'm wrong here, I'd love to be proved wrong. I'd love for somebody to show me the facts that Las Vegas really cares, desperately cares about maintaining the A's name and logo and brand and likeness and all that stuff. Because from what I easily gain and gather is that Las Vegans really prefer expansion in all of this process. They want a team. They don't have great feelings about the A's and at least where things have been recently. They would have preferred expansion in all this, and they'd really like a clean slate. Now, if they're not going to get it with the A's, if they rebrand, at least that would imitate a fresh start and a clean slate, almost like mock expansion, which obviously it's not. So Las Vegas is already saying, hey, we're into the whole Golden Knights thing, the Vegas-born thing. The Athletics were really born in Philadelphia, carried through to Kansas City, had their longest stay in Oakland. This is not ours. This is a hand-me-down of a hand-me-down of a hand-me-down. Vegas seems to attach themselves to things that are intimately theirs. And so if you're the A's, look where you're going. If you really are going, look at what your new market is suggesting. How could you not consider appeasing them? Also, if you rebrand, this is a golden opportunity. I'm not playing off green and golden opportunity, but this is a golden opportunity to sell more merchandise. You'll have new colors, new imagery, a new mascot, a new name that could become quite popular when selling merchandise. And for a team that might be seeking as much revenue as possible and as much recognition and national focus as possible, I mean, this is the alternative to leaving the A's name and everything else in Oakland, is that you get to have something new. You stand to likely benefit. I mean, let's be perfectly honest. If this goes as laid out by the team, which way do you think they would sell more merchandise in Las Vegas? With current A's stuff or with future Blackjacks stuff or whatever they want to call themselves in Las Vegas? There's an opportunity to be had here. But maybe this is a personal thing. Maybe keeping the A's name and history and legacy, maybe it feels like ending the brand or being the ones to put the brand to an end, again, after its existence since 1901 and surviving all the decades and all the prior moves, maybe ending the brand or leaving it with Oakland to the ownership and to the front office, maybe that might equate to failure. As part of the cause, the failure is the cause of relocation or the effect of relocation. Maybe it comes with a negative connotation, like if we leave something behind, this didn't go right. Well, yeah, obviously there's a lot of contention about how things are going, but maybe this feels like an admission that something didn't go the best way possible. Maybe it's just personal preference. I say a personal thing, maybe it's deep-rooted personal preference. But I think more likely, this is a bargaining chip for the team. They know that Oakland and the region of Northern California, specifically at Oakland City Hall, the mayor's office, they know that this area is interested in keeping the name and the logo and the colors and everybody around here who's got a hat or a bumper sticker or a jersey or a t-shirt or a tattoo on their skin. They know the connections here between the team's branding and the region's people. But they also realize there still might be some unfinished business in Oakland or Alameda County or Northern California. The possibility of lawsuits with their departure. The fact that they still own 50% of the Coliseum land, and we'll see how that shakes out. All of this in maintaining the name and the logo and the image. I mean, as they should, they do own the team, but all of this is leverage as part of that unfinished business. It's a bargaining chip. Oh, you want this? Well, I hold on to something else that you want, so let's trade this for that. It could also be as simple as that. Maybe they're not really focused in on the name that much, don't love it that much, but know that Oakland and the region would love to have it, would love to keep it. And on that note, one final thing here. If you can't keep the team, obviously it would be a huge win for Oakland if just the name alone stays. Now, why would that be? Because some people are so pessimistic on the opportunity of professional baseball at the major league level ever coming back to Oakland. But even if the name and the colors and the logo and the mascot, even if they're never used again anywhere or never used again in Oakland, it kind of decreases and minimizes the wound that A's fans would feel by seeing their team wearing their hat, wearing their logo, with those jerseys and those colors and all the paraphernalia that A's fans have here in Northern California. It would decrease the wound if the baseball team moved on without it and went to Las Vegas and didn't wear and sport all of that stuff and parade it around Las Vegas or beyond. Like, if you live long enough and they're only in Vegas for the next 30 years, you can just kind of end it right there and keep it in Oakland. I think this is pretty simple and straightforward. It would be straight up a win for Oakland if the name stays, even if they don't use it. I'm not sure most A's fans have gotten to this point of realization of what this process means, but if in fact it happens and the team moves and they keep on playing, And you're from Oakland, what do you do with your A's hat and shirt and jersey and souvenir cup and favorites that you've collected over the years? What do you do? If the team doesn't keep that when they move on, at least your memory and all of that lives on much easier because the team would not be keeping it in Las Vegas. So I think that's pretty obvious. But again, that goes back to the bargaining chip aspect of the name. But I think at the surface level, that stuff's pretty deep. At the surface level, if you're the A's, there's like a ton of upside to leaving this in Oakland, starting fresh with something new somewhere else and trying to multiply it in the near future. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of reactions in the comments section. Okay, I'll try and take a look through that. But since you made it here to the end of the video, thumbs up down below. You know I always appreciate that. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel so I can definitely see you back here next time.